For over 20 years, there has been one man that has pushed the boundary of filmmaking. A man that is both creative and an incredible visionary that has just changed the game time and time again. And that man is Christopher Nolan. And today we're going to be talking about his latest film, The Odyssey, and why it's going to be his magnum opus. Let's get into it. So if you haven't heard, Christopher Nolan's next big film is going to be The Odyssey. Now, the movie is not of his own creation. It is an adaptation of the book The Odyssey by Homer, which if you have not read, it is still a really, really good novel. And I guess a spoiler for the movie, but I mean, duh. But what this means in terms of a Christopher Nolan film is that this is going to be possibly his biggest project yet. If you're not familiar with the story of the Odyssey, let me break it down for you. The story follows around a main character named Odysseus. That's the man we follow through this, I guess, hero's journey, who we are with during this 10-long-year journey to get back to his home of Ithaca during the Trojan War. And he, in this journey, faces off mythical creatures and even gods themselves. Now, during this time in Ithaca, Penelope, Odysseus' wife, is pushing people off away because they are trying to replace Odysseus as the leader, and Ithaca is just not having it. And Penelope, Odysseus' son, Telemachus, is setting up a journey to go find his father. He believes his father is still alive. And there's a lot of story in between, which I'm not going to go into because I don't want to spoil what could be in the movie or what, if you guys want to go read it yourself. But really, it's a great story. But outside of the book being a really good story and how Nolan has taken a lot of great adaptations and really spun it in his own way, I do think this movie is going to be a great, feature for Nolan just on the sheer conception. Biggest thing in this whole thing is the camera rig itself. Nolan pioneered a whole new type of camera to help with the filming for IMAX. Usually when a movie is shot in IMAX, it's either shot in IMAX or for IMAX. So usually when it's shot with IMAX, it's like the highest quality for certain segments of the movie. But then film for IMAX means that the ratio that you're going to be watching in the movie in is just bigger. The aspect ratio is pretty much what you see. So usually you watch movies on a widescreen or a full screen. This kind of just expands it differently to give you the biggest and the best. So really, filmed for IMAX is just like an approved aspect ratio, but filmed in IMAX is the actual quality that they do shoot it with. And what Nolan did is combined the two. He shot this entire movie, not sequences, fully in IMAX. The camera itself, the quality, the size, the aspect ratio, everything, IMAX. Which is really interesting because Nolan has had a huge interest in IMAX, using it all the way back in 2008 for The Dark Knight. And Nolan has always had a focus of expanding and growing technology and movie technology, really, just to explore what movies can do. So I think that alone is good enough reason for this movie to get you some excitement because Nolan is pushing technology and wanting to make sure every single shot gets in frame and has the perfect quality. But I think because of that, Nolan now has an opportunity to push production to its highest limit, meaning that all the sets that they've built, like all the different ships, they rebuilt Troy, the Trojan horse, the battle at Troy, everything that will be seen in camera is going to be the biggest and most perfect quality because there are so many perfect details they put into these moments that should be appreciated and seen fully. And the fact that word of mouth really went around about how important this movie was, so much so that the year before the movie is ever released, they put tickets out and it sold out in 4 minutes, which is unheard of. I don't think I've ever, in my years of existence, ever heard of a movie put out its tickets a year in advance before the trailer was even out. A teaser trailer, no less. And generate that kind of response based on 3 words alone. The 3 words being Nolan's The Odyssey. Billions. Outside of just rebuilding Troy and the Trojan horse, they're shooting on boats in open waters, and then they have the closed off sequences and water tanks on the Universal lot to get these more giant practical effects so they don't have to keep filming out on location. It's still a great sense to get a sense of real feel. It's not like half a boat, it's a full boat, but they're just using the giant tanks to get a controlled setting for these explicit moments regarding a certain god that I don't want to talk about. Because again, I want you guys to be excited. And one thing that they're doing for when Odysseus goes to see the giants is that they're using puppeteering and animatronics. And what I mean by puppeteering, they're not going to have some do with a sock and they're going to do some kind of thing. It's much more cool. So they built about a 20-foot tall animatronic thing to act as the Cyclops that's going to be in the movie. And a lot of this is done because Nolan refuses just to do a CGI monster from the get-go. He wants to push practicality to the limit, and I really do appreciate that. Not to say that Nolan's never used CGI, but he doesn't want to use CGI as the base. He's going to be using CGI for the monster to kind of make it a more realistic feel. They're going to, do some touch-ups to make it more lifelike. But still, the centerpiece of the performance is going to be this giant animatronic that is puppeteered and reacting, and Matt Damon, who is playing Odysseus, is going to be seeing this thing and reacting and acting with it. And a lot what's going to be helping this film is going to be the forced perspective, similar to what they did with Lord of the Rings, and a lot of grounded camera perspectives to make sure that this thing looks and feels huge. And I spoke briefly about Matt Damon being a part of the cast as Odysseus, and I do think this is the most unique cast since Oppenheimer. The only two that we really have official name and face castings is Matt Damon as Odysseus and Tom Holland as Telemachus. But here are just a few to get the rest of the cast going. We also have John Bernthal, who we saw in the actual teaser trailer, Robert Pattinson, who I believe is the voice, like in the beginning, not before we see John Bernthal, but if you've seen the teaser trailer, I think it's the voice that's doing the narration. But then we also have Charlize Theron, Mia Goth, Elliot Page, Zendaya, Logan Marshall Green, Lupita Nyong'o, Hamish Patel, and Benny Safdie, which his new film, The Smash Machine, that's coming out real soon. And we just did a Dwayne Johnson video kind of talking about it. Go watch it. But this cast is truly incredible. I do think everybody here is going to be shining so bright, and I cannot wait to see how they interact. But to kind of wrap up as to why this will be Nolan's magnum opus, it's because it's simple. They're relying on forced perspective, camera tricks, and just really well done things, and not relying heavy on CGI is setting this up to be something that is just purely a cinematic experience. Something that feels and looks real because they're actually being somewhere and not just a green screen. And I really think the cast is incredible. I do think they're going to just bounce off each other well, and it's just going to be an incredible cast. And I do think that the teaser trailer, or the poster more, saying defy the gods is a really important part. Because if you read this book, there are moments where that theme is very repetitive and relevant because it is what drives all the consequences. Defy the gods is not like something just to get you in the theater or sound cool. It is exactly the purpose and the character's intent in this movie. Again, not much is seen, but what we have seen from behind the scenes of Nolan really using every inch of the earth that we have to build incredible sets. Every pixel of the camera to give us the best and highest quality and have every shot have meaning is really well done. Even the footage we did see in the teaser trailer of the Battle of Troy just looking like this really dark moment is very impressive. Not to mention the fact that they did sell out the showings of all IMAX screenings a year in advance, and how Nolan has really just been pushing every single cinematic experience, especially with Oppenheimer, where I was left speechless for like a day. The Odyssey will definitely be something of a heroic journey in the beginning, and it becomes this entirely different event. It's truly going to be something that he needs to win the Oscar for this. Plain and simple. There are so many Oscars they're going to just clear with this. I guarantee it. And especially during the height of summer, of July. Come on. I think it's coming out July 21st or like July 19th. I know it's like late July, which is still crazy. I could go on for hours, but that's truly all the detail I can really give without having to spoil a lot. So if you guys did enjoy, or you guys do think this is going to be Nolan's best work yet, comment below. I really want to hear what you guys think about this. And also be sure to like and subscribe and check out past videos we got out right now. We have a ton more coming your way, but we got a ton out right now. Also be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We have a lot of great teasers coming out for future episodes and just day-to-day news in the industry you don't want to miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.